Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is cozy fantasy. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to define what I feel like cozy fantasy is, yada yada. So cozy fantasy has definitely reached popularity because of Legends and Lattes, which I haven't read, but everyone and their mother has probably heard of this book, right? And it has really launched this subgenre as a thing that people talk about. And it's new-ish, so there's still some arguments about the perimeters, but I am a romance reader, so most of these are gonna have romance in them, so know that. But cozy fantasy is usually they're not trying to save the world, they're just trying to do their own little thing in their corner of the world. I would definitely define it as you're not gonna be stressed. It's not super intense. It's going to be more relaxed and it's going to be a good time. You're going to read it, it's going to be comforting, it's going to be funny, it's going to be sweet, it's going to be low stakes. It's just not going to be a stressful time. It's not going to be an epic time. It's not going to be layers of machinations on top of layers of betrayal and manipulation. No, that's not what we're going to be doing, right? So in my opinion, I fell in love with this genre years ago as a child. So Dealing with Dragons by Patricia Wrede, which is the first book in the Enchanted Forest Chronicles. This is about a princess who doesn't want to be the perfect princess, and she goes and lives with the dragons, which is an acceptable thing for a princess to do, but she does it in, a completely different way than usual. And it's her, organizing the dragon's library and making Cherry's Jubilee and making friends with other princesses and things like that. And, battling wizards, but in a fun sort of way. So this is a, middle grade book. Definitely one of the things that helped me fall in love with this because I love fantasy vibes. I love the setting, right? I don't always love the brutality. Or being worried about my characters' lives, The other one is Enchanted by Gail, Carson, Levine. This is a Cinderella retelling, and it is a girl who has been cursed with the gift of obedience. A fairy gave her the gift and she has to obey any command that's given to her, and she can't break the curse, and she falls in love with the prince and he falls in love with her, and it's friends to lovers. Also, one of the things that I really love about Ella is that even though she's cursed to obey, she's not a people pleaser. She finds ways to fight the curse. She finds ways to make people regret their choices to command her, and is just someone who never lies down and takes it, never stops being who she is. And she's someone who really knows her worth, and the curse doesn't change that for her. It's wonderful. And it's just a delight. It's so cute. Also, First Test, which is Protector of the Small by Tamora Pierce. I love Tamora Pierce. I am a Tamora Pierce stan. And this one is a girl she's the first girl to train as a knight openly. So her predecessor, Alana the Lioness, she disguised herself as a boy, and that's how she became a knight. But she has helped turn things around in the kingdom, and now technically girls are allowed to do it. Not that they're going to be accepted, but they are allowed to, and she's the very first one to openly do it. And it's just her training and training and training and making friends and beating up bullies and dealing with some magic and some magical things, but she's not really trying to save the kingdom. She's just trying to learn how to be a knight. So those are ones that I fell in love with this type of thing back then. I'm going to give you one more recommendation that would be appropriate for any age group, and then the rest are going to be fantasy romance with cozy vibes. So that's what you're getting. Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill is a graphic novel, and it is queer, and it is the different seasons. You have tea dragons, literally the different type of tea come from these dragons, and you just have this beautiful found family. The art is stunning. I ended up reading this to one of my children and they loved it as well, and it's just beautiful, short, sweet, cozy. It's just lovely. It's a delight. If you would like a palette cleanser or just some pretty pictures with a sweet story, this is beautiful. Now into the fantasy romance. The first one that I want to talk about is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, which is Mead Mishaps #1 by Kimberly Lemming. This is my go-to whenever I think of this genre, right? So we have a cinnamon farmer and she runs into a demon and shenanigans ensue. And the demon is like, I'm gonna kill your family if you don't do this quest with me. So they go to free other demons. There are some depictions of slavery in some of the other cities. Their whole area has long worshipped this goddess. Turns out she's a fraud, right? And she's actually been imprisoning the demons. So they go on a journey to kind of get the demons out from under the enchantments. And of course they fall in love, and it's cute, it's cozy, it's funny. If you want a book that knows what it is and doesn't try to be anything else, it's just like a funny, good, sweet time with some steam in it. It's just fun. I just enjoy this series so much. Then I have Swordheart by Kingfisher. We have a woman, her husband died several years ago and she's been taken care of and living with his uncle, and the uncle dies and leaves her the inheritance. And the family is like, absolutely not. We're gonna lock you in your room until you marry another cousin so that we can keep control of the fortune. And she's like, absolutely not. So she gets the sword down because she's going to end it, because she's just like, I can't do this. I'm not going to spend months and years letting them break me down. Well, the sword is actually enchanted and there's this guy in there and he's sworn to help the bearer of the sword, right? And she is just trying to like have her house, have her life, not have her evil relatives try and control her. That's it. That's her plot, right? So they escape and they go off to try and get help, and then they come back and try and get the house. It's just them. It's just them trying to take care of things. And of course, falling in love along the way. Kingfisher is really a favorite of mine, especially their fantasy romance. And their characters often use being underestimated to their advantage. They're usually older, 30s plus. They're often neurodivergent coded and are just lovely in a way that I think is not replicated by anyone else. I love them. You should love them too. Then I have the Midwinter Mail Order Bride by Wilde. I think this one might be a little bit controversial, but I don't care. This is the fantasy romance that I read years ago that just made me feel good. I just loved it. I wasn't stressed. It wasn't overly long. It was just delightful writing with awesome characters, and I had such a good time. We have a princess who has been hand-delivered to be the wife of the conqueror, and he walks in and she's threatening to kill him and everyone else because they drugged her to make her more complacent, and that didn't really work out for them. He's like, well, I don't want a bride that doesn't want to be married to me, so I'll return you to your kingdom. And he's going to hand deliver her to her kingdom, and the two of them go on a road trip and fall in love. And it's just perfection. I don't care. I don't care. You might not think it's perfection. I don't care. You're wrong. It just makes me happy to think of this book, to think of this whole kind of universe that she has going. It just makes me happy. Next I have Green-Eyed Monster, which is the Boundlands number 0.5 by Elsie Winters. This whole series is exactly what you want if you want cozy fantasy vibes. They're not going to be in too much danger. They're not going to be doing too many large-scale things. It's just a friend group that went to university and they're finding love, and yes, they're solving this here and this problem there, but it's just really interpersonal relationships and sweet, funny, steamy, delightful, just perfect characters that I adore. I actually have like prints of the characters on my wall. I love them so much. So this one is an orc who is actually a nerd, and he goes to a university and he saves an elf, and then they have like a friends to lovers situation where they both really like each other, but they don't think the other one likes them because they think they're just being nice, and it's so cute. It's so cute. Next one is a male siren and an elf that has a lot of magical properties, and then you have a magpie shifter and a vampire. The short stories are also so cute and I love them. Next we're getting a Grim Reaper, and I'm really excited for it as well. But like, this series is a comfort zone. Like it's I just feel happy. I feel happy and excited thinking about them. I think about them all the time. There's characters that I love, and it's so cute and it's so funny, and it's just really good writing that I enjoy. And lastly, I have The Lord of Stariel, which is Stariel #1 by A.J. Lancaster. This series I really feel like should not work for me, but it did. And this is a like country estate, think Downton Abbey, England from 100 years ago or so. And they have this country estate, but it's also a fae land. And so the Lord is chosen by the land and has like these different magic properties that they can use, and they're like connected to the land, right? So her father dies. She's been doing illusions for the theater, and she goes back, and to everyone's surprise, but no one's surprised more than her own, she's chosen as the next lord and has to deal with all these issues on the country estate, has to deal with her family, has to deal with all these interpersonal relationships. She has to deal with the fact that her Wilde behavior was more accepted when she was disowned by her father and not the lord of the country estate. And she has a romance. She deals with fae, she deals with dragons, and she deals with, you know, getting electricity to the house, and her cousins causing issues, and her brother causing issues. And that's kind of it. There are some things where, yeah, they're trying to make things better, but for the most part, it's a really quiet, sweet story. There's not very much steam in this series at all. There's no steam in book 1. There's some heavy makeout scenes in book 2, and then some very pulled back, almost closed door sex scenes in 3 and 4. And we're talking like 1 or 2 scenes in 3 or 4. So not steamy at all. So if you do want something that you don't have to deal with much sex, Swordheart would also not be very steamy, and the other ones would be quite steamy. That's it. Those are ones that I think just give cozy vibes. They will be great if you need a comfort read, if you need something low stakes, if you need something to kind of help relieve the stress of life. These would be great choices. So give me any recommendations you have. Let me know if you've read these or want to read them, and I hope you do enjoy them. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.